Well, it's June again, and you guys know what that means. It's Pride Month. Pride in having my son, and June is his birth month.
It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
It is my baby's, sorry, I'm holding trash. It is my baby's birthday soon, so I have to make a birthday crown. So you're coming with me to go to the craft store. The Michaels is the closest one. It's like 30 minutes away. Let's go. We've got this blue color, big blue house-ish color. Then this brown for bear. I think it's a good brown for bear. Like in the oranges section, the bear is somewhere between orange and brown. And then pink, just in case, because it's a really cute blushy pink. I feel like this will be Tutter's ears and nose. Today we're working on a birthday crown. I'll show you last year's. The theme was bugs, plain inside, but I denoted that it was his first birthday. And then it's got the Velcro, so it can be worn up until almost adult head size. I would say right before this is going to be the cutoff. Last year, the theme was our little June bug. This year, the theme is Bear in the Big 2 house, like Bear in the Big Blue house, but 2. I am in charge of the felt crown again because I am, and it's my job. So sorry again, this is a chunk of something that we got Craft Warehouse. Morgan asked for double-sided interfacing, and this roll of whatever this was the only thing that said double-sided interfacing. They didn't have any of the regular, now I know what double-sided interfacing is, and I have no idea what this is for. I guess if you iron it, it sticks on both sides, but even so, that doesn't really seem right. Anyway, I've been using it for many projects. It's good to like make something stiffer. That's certainly not what it's for. I've cut out a chunk of I traced this because I lost my pattern piece for the crown, and then marked the center part because unfortunately when I made this one, I had giant piece of green felt. I don't know where we got it from, probably Joann's a gazillion years ago. Bo, I think, was using it for like an Adventure Time something. Anyway, doesn't matter. We had a lot of this green felt, and most felt does not come in like huge long sheets or like by the yard. Typically the biggest sheet you can find is this size. As you can see, it does not work so much for tracing one full side of birthday crown because of the length of it. Yeah, that's annoying to me, but we'll live. I've got this, and what I am going to do is have a seam in the front center that'll mostly be covered by Bear's head. I suppose I should show you now. Here is the mock-up, the thought process of what we're doing. We've got Bear in the middle, Ojo, and then Trilo, and then I have Pip and Pop for either side. You may have noticed I've chosen images of these characters as their Muppet selves as opposed to a cartoony style, like a coloring sheet or something else, where they are made into a two-dimensional image. That is intentional. I don't think there's anything wrong with using the flattened art style version of a character, particularly for things like this. I don't like these ones. Picture. They just don't feel right to me, and I would rather this look like a little bit funky so you can kind of like tell that they're Muppets. I feel that it's like the characterization of them, it's taken away their Muppet qualities. You know what I mean? It's made them cartoony, which is fine. I'd like for them to still look Muppety. I'll show you my Tutter as an example. This is a Tutter that I'm working on for a Busy Book page. It's going to be a paper doll Tutter, like you can put different outfits on him. I've used an image of Muppet Tutter as opposed to the cartoony one. I'll show you cartoony Tutter picture. This looks more like Tutter to me, and so I would rather use this. And then also, because Bear in the Big Blue House is such an old piece of media, I don't have a lot of trust that the images are like definitely not AI. Now what I'm going to do, cut these out. For the edge here, I'm gonna leave a little bit of space and then sewing machine sew them. And I'm really freaked out about that. Should be fine. Okay, as you can see, I've done a tiny bit extra on the outside because of when I sew this with yarn, with a blanket stitch. It's gonna look cute, and it needs to like have more space so that I don't have to go through this also. And then we get to this part, I've given it even more so that I can have these be sewn together like this. Anyway, okay, on the sewing machine. I'm scared, so I'm doing this one side first and then I'll do the other one because I don't know how this is gonna go. Haha, this is pissing me off so bad. This is the second time now that I've tried to do this, and it's like not, I went so slow. I was so careful, and it's not alright. I'm not gonna do it again. I'm just gonna call this one the back and hopefully get the other one a little bit better. I did like lay my part out with it, and there already is enough of an edge on this extra, like from this, that it's not a big deal, but it is annoying. Okay, I think my hubris was too great, thinking I could just hold it steady enough, so now I've pinned it. And so hopefully that will do something. That was what it needed. I'm just a dingus. Okay, so this is how our sandwich type situation is looking. We have this, we have the middle chunk, we have the bottom chunk. These all line up in a way that I'm comfortable with. I think this is okay. General bear shape. Now we need to do his like mouth and his nose and his eyes. His snout, his like lighter color that we'll have here. Okay, I'm not sold on this because Bear's face looks too creepy skinny to me right now. But this part is always sort of like a trust the process part, so we'll see. But as you can see, I didn't like this as I was doing it, so I just like fixed it as I was cutting it out. I think we need one more layer. That's his like wide part of his mouth, so I think I'm gonna have to cut this bear also. But also his like nose, I'm gonna do, like his snout will also be separate. Okay, this is looking better. The orangey nose is gonna help. Yeah, it's all coming together, boys. Yeah. Man, it has been a minute since I have done super intentional, precise detail work with felt. And I'm not having the worst time of my life, but I do not want to do this for 4 more characters. So, Don't worry, everybody. Instead of doing it for 4 more characters, I'm doing it for 5. Toddler's the last one. I decided that Pip and Pop needed to be together as a unit. I think they looked silly individually split apart, mostly because that's just not how you see Pip and Pop. This is how Trilo's looking. I have sewn them together so that their outer edge, when I sew it to the felt, it'll only be sewn once. Does that make sense? So if I had like completely stitched around Bear here to attach this piece better to the bottom piece that he has, then I would have to go over those same stitches to sew him to the crown. But now I don't really have to worry about that. I can just kind of sew it normal. And this is Ojo, Bear, Pip and Pop, Trilo. Trilo looks the silliest, but they are all, I would say, recognizable at a glance when you understand the context. And now Tutter. I've spent an unreal quantity of time sewing little sequins on. I think this looks cute. The guys are sewn down now. I haven't decided what I'm doing on like the bottom half of this. What I kind of want to do is take blue yarn that's a similar color to this and embroider lines up, like an outline around. I think that might be cute. I feel like sequins all the way down would be too much. Like that is really, I mean, obviously it's already like obnoxious in a birthday crown. And I don't want to put any words down here, and I'll have words on the back of it to say which like birthday it is. I feel like here you'll see we had worms in between on this last one. Just cute. And some ants. Yeah, I don't know. But I do think the sequins are fun. I think this is very birthday, you know? This is the incredibly sophisticated setup I have for making cardboard Bear in the Big Blue House characters. These are clothes that are for the clothing swap. Tile table, supposedly from 100+ years ago, that like one of my great ancestors made. Projector that a sweet pea got us for $50 that we have used so much. This kid's chair to a table set that I got from the bins, and then laptop attached to it. This is what we got. Time lapse. All right, girlies, here's the tour. We have Shadow, Luna on insane, like, reinforced, you could bash someone over the head with this cardboard because she's just circle. I'm hoping that goes okay for me. Bear, cutesy. and Ray. And that's what we've got. I think that's fine. I think that'll be enough. This has saved my life. So many occasions. It's a new day. The drop cloth is out. I have cut these as much as I can with my fancy electric rotary cutter. And I'm now gonna go in and use my regular scissors. Luna's pretty good because she's a circle and she's made out of the beefiest, most insane. You hear that? That could be wood. So Luna's good, which is cool, but the rest of these need a little bit more detail cuts on them. And I've got my tea from Chesapeake Tea Co. that is so delicious. It's the lemon cake one. It rocks. And I'm gonna trim these a little bit, and then I think I'm gonna get to painting because my carpal tunnel from hand sewing so much hurts. Oh, I'll show you what I did. I'm my own worst enemy, and I've started doing this, like, embroidery along the bottom that I think is gonna look really sick. But it is really time consuming and super annoying. And I was like, oh god, I don't want to spend time doing a bunch of, like, tiny fiddly things. And here I am, so. My incredibly sick rotary cutter, I'll tell you right now, we got it a long time ago. Over a year ago from Target. And it's the only thing that I think, have bought from Target in the whole time where, like, we and other people have been pissed at Target. And it was genuinely because there was no other place that sold one. And we decided as a family that Target was slightly lower on our list of evils than Amazon. And now I looked it up because I have a couple of friends who do crafty things who've been like, where did you get that? Where can I get another one? And it doesn't exist anymore. It's like Blue Ridge something are the ones who made it. And I don't know if that whole company is defunct, but like you cannot find their like electric rotary cutter, which is weird. It takes just like a regular, you know, those chargers that they used to use for phones before iPhone chargers were like, before iPhones had the popularity level that they do, you know? Those save my hands and have helped because I feel like it's really just, it's like the detail stuff is like not as bad, especially if you have the scissors like these where you're not trying to like finagle your hand into holes, you know what I mean? My best advice when cutting with cardboard is if you can find scissors like this that you can get more oomph down on, get them. If you're going to be cutting cardboard on a semi-regular basis, if you're the kind of person who does extravagant Halloween costumes or even just like you make Halloween costumes, I would bet most cosplayers have. If you need something like this, see if you have cosplayer friends, if they've got them, because they're really helpful. You also, to save your own hands, can use the less beefy cardboard. This is like the worst cardboard that I'm using. And it's still great. The shadow is going to be small, and so that's why I picked her for this one. This is like a little thicker. This is like a better cardboard. But I wanted Luna and Ray, Luna specifically, able to maybe use over and over again for other stuff, or just like as decor in our home. Or possibly if there are other people who are interested in having Bear in the Big Blue House birthday in our general area. Yeah, if I had all of the time in the world, I don't know if I need the other characters to be made out of cardboard, but I would like to have Trilo hanging from something in some capacity. And Pip and Pop are gonna be on the knees of the boys' hands. So I don't know if I need them like physically somewhere, but I do wanna have Toddler somewhere. And if I had all the time in the world, I would have like the mouse school attendees on like little toothpicks to like stick in random foods made out of felt. That is not gonna happen for sure. But another thing about cardboard is you just kind of have to deal with the fact that it's going to like bend and bow and do weird stuff. That is part of the material that you're working with. It's just gonna be like that. And if something gets a little bit messed up, or if you have to like tape a piece back, or if you have to like reinforce it in another way, it is not the end of the world. See? It's looking much better than up here. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna listen to my book. I'm listening to the 4th You book. You as in like Joe Goldberg, that creepy guy. God, this tea is so good. Let's go. Luna. She's done. She's cute. She's a little scary because Luna's scary, but okay, Bear's gonna be a little bit tougher than our other characters because Luna had enough like different colors she didn't need an outline. And Bear, I don't want to put an outline on, so what I need to do is like color block slightly different tones of orange and yellow and beige. And what I've done so far is just like one layer of orange, so we can just kind of start there. And you can see we're already warping the cardboard. So I think maybe when he's completely done with this drawing, I'll have something sit on him for a little bit to sort of flatten him back out. Or should I wait until we're completely done painting to flatten him? I'm not sure. So Luna and Shadow were significantly easier to paint than Ray and Bear because black and white in general in acrylic paint, it just seems like they have like more pigment to them, like more like base pigment, because as you can see, the yellow is like really see-through, as is the orange actually. And I could have painted this white to begin with, but I think I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. I'm not like worried about it. These are just gonna take longer. Also, without me even putting anything hefty on Bear, he kind of like chilled out a little in terms of his bendiness, so that is good. Okay, doing these guys at the same time because the colors that I make sometimes work for the other one, but don't work for the one that I'm trying to mix for. So anyway, this I think is gonna end up becoming our mostly Bear body color. This is some lighter stuff that I put down first to see if we can keep it lighter-ish. This is like, I think it'd be like main Bear body color, and then I did this darker one to just kind of like keep my lines where I want them to go. Does it look too much like Bear has a beargina? Here's the problem, he just is shaped like that. So it's not, you know what I mean? Like he has this, like that's not, you know, so I guess I could have made it less furry. That would look less like a vagina maybe. Well, I really enjoy mixing colors until I get the correct one. Morgan for a while was saying that I am colorblind, because there are times when I very adamantly will be like, no, this is blank. And I don't know if we've talked about this before, so sorry if this is boring, but I say that I have color autism. I'm a there is no indigo truther, so jot that down. The concept, I have never seen an indigo, air quote, that I couldn't either categorize as like a purple or a blue. And that's just how I feel. I'm good at colors and I love Morgan, but sometimes I'm more right than her about what color something is. And also, colors are really subjective. But there are a couple of, it's usually reds specifically actually, where like things in the red family where we'll have like a disagreement about it. There is a ball that the baby has that I have thought was red the whole time that he's had it. And if you hold it next to something that's like a deep red, then it's like orangey looking. And so Morgan says his orange ball, and I usually say his red ball. But also orange is just like red with some yellow in it. You know what I mean? But it's funny because I'll do color mixing things where I'm trying to like match a color, and Morgan will be like, oh my God, why are you putting green in that, you freak? And then I'll like mix it and she's like, oh my God, how did you do that? I'm not good enough to be like one of those people on TikTok who like holds something and then mixes the right color and it's the exact same color. I'm not quite that, I couldn't do it professionally or anything, but I've got some skills and I use them. Mostly for good, occasionally for evil. Anyway, I'm glad I did this weird underpainting thing of the orange. I think it helped a lot because I feel like Bear, yeah, he's just like a weird kind of orangey color. And so for the like bleed through underneath of it to be orange is great, but it is kind of funny. I mean, I can see what the cardboard color was. It's like much more gray. It's less yellow and orange than I need this to be. But it's funny to me because like this, the color that I'm painting, to me, it feels like cardboard color. So could have just left this cardboard, but I wouldn't.
Daddy.
Hi, baby.
I see you.
I do you. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye. I love you.
I love you. Ray.
Also, Ray, who's this?
Feel.
Bear. Who's this?
Ray.
Ray. You're so smart, buddy. This is the Protective Plus Washable Gloss Finishing Cream. I do think it was like $25 when I bought it. I have used it a million times on many things for a long time. It says it's 8 ounces. I think we're like halfway through. Let me look. Yeah, it's like half full. And you really don't need that much. Like it goes a long way. I've had this for at least 2 years because I got it before the baby was born. You know, I would say definitely worth the $25. We've got shiny protective coat on Luna. This is how Ray is looking. I think he just needs one more coat of yellow and a couple of weird little patchy places, but I really like the way his rays turned out. And then Bear, I think, is done, except I think I need like this color-ish to go around his face because he looks okay up close, but from far away, I feel like we're losing him just a little bit. Okay, I caved. We have outline on Bear, and I fixed his nose to make it more blue. I did it like blue with a little bit of black in it before, and it just looked so black, and I really wanted it to look blue. It looks actually very unhinged in this recording, and it's a little more muted in real life. It's like freshly wet right now also, so when it dries it'll be a little darker, and I think will look more true to like Bear's color, but I think we needed the lines. And then we have Ray, who I did a little like highlight even lighter yellow on his rays, and I think he looks great. I think he's done, and I think Bear is done. I just need to seal both of them, and I'm not gonna seal Shadow because she's just plain black, and I think that's fine, and it seems like a lot of work to seal her, and like she's fine. And then we have shiny Luna. Yay. Morgan thinks this is, well, this seems silly. I should just cut it out big first. This seems very silly because I don't need it to be like crispy detailed yet. Morgan thought this was going to take a really long time. She could still be right. That is still possible. I feel like it took so much time, and it takes so much time to do like the layers on the paintings on the cardboard. I would rather make this out of construction paper and then like tape it to the cardboard if I must. Which is funny because that is what she originally said. She was like, you should just cut them onto cardboard and then do the construction paper pieces on top. Which, I'd like to be clear, doesn't really make any sense. Because how are we backwards finagling that unless we're printing it out and cutting out all the pieces like this? It was like she wanted me to like trace it, which I don't think is like the worst idea in the world. A little chaotic. As you can see, I'm printing on my obnoxious colored paper because this is one that doesn't matter. This is just like a fakey. Such a nice change of pace to be doing this. Big guy compared to all the teeny tinies I've been doing. Ta-da! Oh, where's my freaking blue? I also don't have that many construction paper colors, which is nice because it kind of just like takes away the problem. It's like, oh, well, I don't have a different blue. This is my Tutter blue, you know? Do-do-do-do. This is sort of the paper craft version of a basting stitch. Perhaps I cut out big. Man, I love construction paper. Something so crispy about it. I'm not gonna try to get like so close to this because I can just get in closer. Oh God, let's put the cap on the X-Acto knife while it's not in use, Felix. Okay, yeah, I'm sick of that, so let's do this now. Yeah, God, I love an X-Acto knife. This would be easier if I had a cutting board that wasn't so many chunks out of it, but, you know, we'll live. Cool. Looking good to me. All right. Okay. And I do have glue stick because I will need glue stick. Okay, I'm making Pip and Pop as knees for the baby's pants. I have traced these guys on the denim. I'm gonna do some stuff now with it. Okay, we got the denim on one side, we got the heat and bond on the other. I did like 2 seconds to just sort of like stick it in the center and then cut it around and then ironed it down better. Okay, I'm gonna iron it like this. I hope it works. My sticky stuff is on the side. I was gonna try to do this like this and like fold it over, but I think instead I'm gonna cut it all the way up to the edge and then try to do a zigzag stitch. See what that does.
No, I do kind of get what you mean. I feel like it's not slow exactly.
Okay, these are the shapes we need for the mouths, but this is the back side of the fabric, so we need them like this, and then I'll trace them, and then I'll cut them, and then I'll iron them, and then we'll sew them. This is where we've landed on Pip and Pop patches. Something about them looks haunted to me. Pop's nose looks goofy. I might pick that. His lips also look crazy. I think red is not the choice I should have made, but whatever. And then, yeah, the eyeballs. I tried to do one, and it looped around twice and they got immediately haunted looking. So this is what I get for not changing out my thread colors. Yeah, I was using my mom's machine that is like digital, so it was harder to control for like a super teeny tiny situation, and I wasn't using free motion. So anyway, I'm gonna try to do it on Morgan's machine, and if not, I'll just scream, I guess. At this point, it would absolutely, without question, just be quicker and easier to do hand sewing for this, but I am actually in too deep. I'm in too deep. I have this stupid, incredibly dark fabric on already incredibly dark fabric. I'm trying to get this stitch like as close to the very edge of it as I can. I'm not using a free motion thingy. So I'm basically just like screwing myself over in every possible aspect. It's not even looking good, by the way. It's not looking good and it's not quicker. So what is my goal here? What is my intention? To make a fool of myself? Oh, shit. God. No wonder this was impossible to do on the other one. And now this otter's just gonna look livid. I don't want an angry otter. Golly. You know, actually, that's not horrible. Whatever. The problem is that if I hand stitch it at this point, then they're just not going to be, like, cohesive looking at all. I should pick this stupid nose, though, because his nose looks really stupid. So stupid you would not believe. Look how stupid that looks. The things I do for this boy. I will say I showed it to him last night. Was like, little baby, who's this? And he said, Pip, pip, pop. So he knew, you know. So they are recognizable, at least to the smartest baby in the world. So that's good. There's so many other things I could be doing right now that would make more sense, or at least be slightly less unhinged of me. And here I am. Although in my defense, this is also for my mother, who is she's making the pants for him, right? And she can't sew the pants until I've put the patches on the pants. So God, can you imagine what I wanted to do? Patches that were Luna and Ray, and then I was like, I'll just do Pip and Pop because that would be like way easier, and they could be more heavily featured in the party, in the decor. Scary sort of triangle-y shaped eyes. Whatever. I was telling Morgan, maybe I already recorded myself saying this, that they have kind of like a SpongeBob popsicle vibe to them in this state, which I'm comfortable with. Am I even at the edge of this? Where are you? You know, sometimes you learn, and other times you just look silly. Yeah, honestly, I do feel like that looks better. I mean, technically, no. Technically, it looks much worse. But I like it better than it was before when it was not wide enough around the nose in the slightest. Pop. God. Okay, where's the other stupid freaking otter? I'm gonna start with this slightly larger eyeball. Backwards to lock it in. Does that actually do anything? I don't know. Well, good. That was on purpose, actually. You'd never guess it, based on everything about me and how terribly this is going, but that was intentional. God, these scissors suck so bad. Yeah, I am definitely gonna need, to bring the pants down here. Oh, God, but this sewing machine has been weird to me recently. Although, honestly, these stitches are all fine, so maybe not. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Eyeball. I thought about adding tongues to their little mouths. They've caused me too much grief for me to do something nice for them. Oh no, that's fine actually. Oh God. Okay. Is that all the way to the edge, girl? I can't freaking tell because all of this fabric is so dark and this circle is so small. I'm just a nincompoop with a sewing machine and a lot of love for my child. Golly, that's fine. Yeah, no, that honestly, that rocks. I'm calling that good. God, these scissors are terrible. Look at that. Do you see that? Fuck. Yay, hooray. And everything went really well, and I feel good about it. I can't tell if these look haunted or if I'm just, like, haunted otter-pilled by how scary they looked the first time I did them. Okay, I don't know if this is helpful or interesting to anyone, but I used to be really afraid of heat and bond stuff, and it's actually not that scary, and I love to use it, especially for projects like this. So there are two different ways that I use it. One is like this, where I have something that is already the shape that I want it to be, put the heat and bond on the back, and then do a really quick, like, 2 seconds, and then cut out the extra heat and bond out from around it, and then I can use those weird little strips to make other stuff, so I save them, because I'm kind of unhinged. The other way that I use it is I just do like a chunk of heat and bond on something and then cut out the shapes that I want from that. So the eyes and the noses and the mouths of these two are with that process because I had a piece of paper that I wanted them to be exactly the right shape to be out of the thing. So for me, when it's something small like that, it's easier because then I don't have to try to like aim my thingy. Also, I continue to use these strips for other weird applique things. So again, still it's not going to waste, or if it is, it's like the same amount that this is. But again, probably this will probably end up getting used. So now that I've got these trimmed nicely, I'm gonna go back and like really get the heat and bond on there pretty good by like holding it down for like 6 seconds or whatever. And here they are, sewn down. Hopefully the next time you see them, they will be made into pants for a little guy. On another side quest, I'm making an insane Toddler shirt. Mimi is helping with her heat press.
It's supposed to be heating up, but I pressed the little R and I think that it thinks it's doing something now, but it's only at 75 degrees. I can't remember. I can't find the little book.
This is Trans Our Dream, True Heat Transfer Paper Happy Pride Month. This is how this is looking. Mimi's here. She still has not found her booklet of how to use the heat press.
I figured it out. We're putting the Teflon over.
There's also Teflon under.
There is also Teflon under. I'm not sure if that's actually required. I just do that. It's in between the shirt. Because I feel like with this you wouldn't do it. But you know, you don't want it sticking together. I don't know.
It freaks me out. I'm like, seems like there should be a layer there.
Okay, let's go.
She's doing it.
Put it down, press the little R, and then push.
Okay. Does it count for you?
Yeah, you see the seconds counting?
Oh, shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, this one's really cool.
That's dope.
And it also tells you the pounds you're pushing. For some things, the pounds matter, like how hard you're pushing.
That's so interesting.
Does it say if this is like a cold or a hot situation? Like some things if you're peeling. Oh.
Hey.
Okay. We should let it cool, and then you have to try to peel the edges up.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like we might need to do it again.
Well, you didn't hold it down. It said for like 30 seconds on the low end, right? On the sheet.
It doesn't have exact instructions for this situation.
Okay, I know, I'm hearing that.
Because it was thinking that this is really big.
Yeah.
And it was thinking that it was a press, whatever it called it.
Yeah.
That wouldn't fit over the whole thing.
Okay.
So it was wanting you to like slowly go like this for 1,000 years.
Right.
And we're not putting this on here for 120 seconds.
No, I'm hearing that.
We don't want to start a fire.
No,
So
that's fair. It looks pretty good though.
It would look better if you had the kind that went on
dark fabric.
Dark fabric.
I'm not stressed about it. But I printed it on navy intentionally.
Yeah, no, that's smart. Yeah, I mean, we could probably do it like for another 15 seconds.
I'd say we do for another 15 for safety.
Because I can't actually pull it up. It makes it look like very vintage.
Yeah.
This is vintage Toddler.
I'm so excited. Do you remember when we used to make these and it was like the really like thick stuff that it came in and it just like kind of looked like shit? Mm-hmm. This is like way better.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this like won't crack like that stuff.
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah. It seemed like the concern.
If it did though, it wouldn't really matter because it would just make it look more vintage in this case. But...
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I think the concern was they said like the whites can turn yellow. if you do it for too long, and then the edges can peel up if you don't do it for long enough.
Gotcha.
After like the first wash. But yeah, that's
Should we do it for the full 20? Oh, 20 seconds is what I had on. So
yes.
The full 20 seconds again.
Sure, for safety.
All right, here we go.
That's so great. Where did you get this from?
HTV Ront, like their actual website.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I didn't want to buy it from Jeff, you know.
No, screw Jeff.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good deal. It was actually a better deal from their website.
When it's not a better deal from the website, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand either because
What
it's
the science
literally
is.
HTV Ront is who is directly selling on
Right.
Amazon. So they should always make it a better deal on their own website.
Yes.
Because they get more money for it.
Oh yeah. No, but I'm curious if Amazon like subsidizes people to make it so it's cheaper for their stuff, because sometimes it is so much cheaper on Amazon even from their own website.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hate it. Pisses me off.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That guy.
Toddler, he's looking good.
Well, the edges look the same. Actually, maybe a little bit better. But I think this will definitely be good and stay.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for your help, Mom.
Yeah.
It's so cute. All right, folks, here we have it. Here's the birthday crown. I can't show you the inside because it's got his name. Pretty cute though, right? I think this works. Okay, welcome to pressure washing ASMR. Can you see me? Hello from me and Laminated Tutter. This was supposed to be the part of the video where we show you the birthday party, but the birthday party got canceled. Literally at 9 p.m. The day before the party, our sweet, sweet baby had all of a sudden, out of like nowhere, a fever of 102 and was just like clearly having a terrible time. So we like late night canceled the next day birthday party and we've rescheduled it. This just means for you that you got to see all the prep work in this video, and then when you see the actual birthday party, it'll probably be like a short video. It'll be very aesthetic as opposed to having this unhinged energy that I have a tendency to bring to crafting and event prep videos. You know, sometimes that's how it goes. We kind of had the option to either like warn everyone who is an adult that he had a fever the night before and uninvite the toddlers and just be like, if you want to come you can, or cancel and reschedule. And he wouldn't have had fun at that birthday party, and that's the whole point, right? So it's canceled and I feel bad, but also it rained that day, so it wouldn't have had the outdoor space. Long story long, it's probably better that we rescheduled, but it is disappointing for a number of reasons. But great, because he is too little to know that he had to reschedule a birthday party. You know, he's not like, oh man, I was excited to hang out with all my friends today, because like he had been told that was going to happen, but he's not like asking about it, you know. Because the party's rescheduled, Mimi didn't finish the pants. They went on like a fun adventure yesterday. She went with Morgan's parents and Morgan, so like that's really great. They had a good time. So you won't be able to see the full outfit, but this is the incredibly sick airbrushed shirt that Morgan's parents got, because Morgan's dad is a friend who does airbrushing. So this, with the shirt, with the Pip and Pop pants, is gonna be a fit. It's gonna be so cute. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking with me through some very silly and strange circumstances. And here's the bloopers. If this isn't recording, I'm gonna flip my lid. Oh, it is, it is. The joke I was gonna make is that if Indigo died and then we dug up their bones, you'd be able to tell if it was purple or blue. That's only funny to me and probably like 3 other trans people. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. For the love. Oh my god.